Getting a job as an international student in Australia is hard work, and struggle is real for many students who come here for studies. But many students try to apply for some jobs that may not be matching their English proficiency levels. I'm not suggesting that you cannot apply for the jobs that are beyond your English proficiency levels, but it becomes a little bit challenging to get a job if your English is not that great. And I don't want to demotivate you about it that you cannot apply for other jobs in your life. As an international student myself who have come to Australia with a medium English proficiency level, I've gone through from doing dishwashing to work in the retail industry and now to become a teacher here. But obviously it takes time for many students to improve their English to those levels. So in this video, I'll try to make it easier for you by categorizing the jobs based on your English levels. So we will look at the jobs based on if you have a low English level, or if your English proficiency level is kind of medium, or if you're really good with your English proficiency. So we will look at all these three different categories and the type of jobs you can do if you have those English levels. Without wasting any minute, let's get into it. So let's discuss first about the low English level. So my understanding of low English level will be someone who do not want to interact too much with people and don't have a lot of understanding of the general English terms. So for those people, here are some recommendations. First one will be in the hospitality industry, which is dishwashing, or you can also call it kitchen hand as well. So basically someone who is cleaning the dishes in the hospitality sector. It could be in a restaurant, cafe, bar, or other places. And in that sort of a job role, you do not need to have a great level of English. So you will be doing very little interaction, and that job really suits for someone who doesn't feel confident with their English. As I mentioned earlier, I have done that job myself, so I know there is not a lot of interaction going on in that sort of job role. Now let's move on to the second job role, which is cleaners. As a cleaner, you can work with a very low English proficiency. So you could be cleaning offices or houses depending upon the type of cleaning job you have got. And if there is some communication required, usually your supervisor will let you know what you need to do or not. The next one is in the agriculture or in the farms, which is fruit picker. So you can become someone who picks up the fruits in the farms. It depends upon what type of fruit it is. Could be oranges, could be bananas, could be strawberries, raspberries. There are plenty of fruits that we grow here in Australia. And working in these farm jobs, you do not need to have a great English proficiency level. The next one on our list is removalist. Removalists are usually people or persons who help in moving the houses. So for example, if you want to move from one house to the other, you might need to move your furniture or some other items, and you might need help with that. So as a removalist, you do not need to have a great sort of English, although you need to be mindful of that it is a physical work. It requires a heavy lifting, so it may not be suitable for everyone. The next job on our list in this category is flyer distribution. As a flyer distributor, you will be going around from one place to the other or one house to the other and dropping in some flyers. Obviously, you will be guided on which houses you should put these catalogs or marketing materials in and which houses you should not. But usually you get paid based on how many flyers you distribute. It may not be the most well-paid jobs out there, but it certainly is one of those jobs which you can do with low English levels. The next one on our list is quite decently paid here in Australia. It's known as dog walking. So you can become a dog walker. Obviously the job will be to walk the dogs around the neighborhood, as owners are usually busy with their jobs or some other businesses. So you will help the owners to take their pets out, and it's quite decently paid here in Australia. And you do not need to have a really great English, as you will just need to be mindful of some basic instructions from the owners of these pets. The next one on our list is factory worker. So as a factory worker, you could be responsible for packing or some assembly line work, and in these sort of job roles, there's not a lot of talking going on. All you need to follow is some basic instructions again, and you just continue to do your work for the given amount of time. I've done a job as a factory worker as well myself when I first came here, so there wasn't a lot of talk going on there. All you need to do is follow the instructions and just make sure that you do the job as per the requirements. Again, great for people who do not have a great English. So these were the top 7 jobs for those people whose English levels are not that great. Now we are moving into the second proficiency level, which is medium English level. So if you're feeling your English is decent, but it's not that great, but you can still get around with some talking and taking some specific instructions as well. So if your English level is medium, here are some job recommendations for you. So the first couple of them will be in hospitality industry industry, we are starting off with the waiting staff. Waiting staff means becoming a waiter or waitress in hospitality industry. So there could be jobs in cafes, restaurants, bars, and so on. Obviously, you will need to interact with people. You'll be taking orders from customers and you'll be serving them as well. Sometimes you may also be required to take some payments as well. So you should be able to have a decent English. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to have some communication skills. Next one in hospitality on our list is barista. So you can become a barista as well. Barista is someone who usually is responsible for making coffees. So you should know about making different type of coffees. People in Australia are very specific about their coffees. Actually, Starbucks is not that sort of a big deal here in Australia because there are plenty of good cafes where you can get really good coffee as well. So you need some sort of a training and may need some certification as a barista as well. We can suggest you some RSA courses and barista courses in the description box below. So you can check them out if you want more details on that. And one of the most popular jobs for international students is becoming a delivery driver. So as a delivery driver, you could be delivering food or non-food items as well. There are plenty of food platforms like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Menulog, and so on. Although many platforms have stopped hiring recently, luckily DoorDash is still hiring people. So if you would like to sign up for DoorDash, we'll leave the link in the description box below. You can check it out from there. And as I mentioned earlier, as a delivery driver, you could be delivering food or some other items. Sometimes you could be working with other organizations like Australia Post, DHL, and so on. The next one is event staff. So in Australia, you will come across many events around major cities and even in some regional towns as well. We are based in Melbourne. There are plenty of events that happen throughout the year here in Melbourne. And apart from Melbourne, many other cities host different type of events. I have worked in different events myself as well. That included working in a football match, a cricket match, music festival, and many others. So there are plenty of opportunities for the event staff, but you may need to have a decent communication skills there. The next one on our list is babysitter. So that's another popular job among many international students, specifically females, where you can look after the babies of people here in Australia. Some parents will actually require babysitters to become au pairs, which is an arrangement where you also live with the host family as well. So they look after your accommodation and your food and other things, and you have to look after their little ones. But some people will also hire babysitter just to look after their babies if they are going out or if they're working and if they can't find anyone else to look after. Again, you need to have some communication skills in order to get some instructions from the parents. You might be okay if the babies are little, so you don't need to communicate much with them. The next one on our list is hairdresser. So many international students who come here, they work as a hairdresser or in the salon, as a nail artist or as eyebrow artist or henna artist as well. Again, you can get away with the medium communication skills working in the hairdressing industry. And depending upon what type of job role you have in this industry, you might be cutting people's hair, getting instructions for them on what type of hairstyle do they want, or if you're doing nails or doing henna or eyebrows, you may have to follow the instructions. So you need to have some decent English levels. The next one on our list is stock filler, or sometimes known as shelf fillers or night fillers. So that's one of the job role I did myself here in Australia in Woolworths supermarket, where my job was to stack the shelves and to make sure that the shelves were looking full and nice and tidy. And sometimes you may need to help customers, but if you're working overnight, you may not even see any customer in the store. So great job for people who don't have that great English levels. Last but not the least on our list is some trade jobs. That includes working as a painter, mechanic, or gardener as well. These are some trade specific job roles that you can do with medium English levels. As most of the time you might be working on your own, but you will need to still follow some instructions. Now let's move on to the last category. If you have a really good communication skills, or we can consider it as a high English proficiency, what sort of job roles you can do. So we'll start off with some retail industry. So the first one on our list is customer service oriented retail jobs. You could be working in supermarkets where you are serving your customers, or in clothing stores or shopping centers, 7-Elevens, petrol stations, and other food chains as well. Most of the time you will need to know how to deal with customers, and you need to have a good communication skills for that. We actually have a whole video on how to get retail jobs here in Australia. The link will be in the description box below. The next job on our list is sales and marketing jobs. If you have a good communication skills, then you should definitely consider looking jobs into this industry, as you can make a decent money out of it, especially if you have a good sales skills as well. You could be doing these sales face to face when you are explaining something to the customers or trying to sell them a product or service, or over the phone, or sometimes door knocking as well, where you go from one house to the other. And usually there are commissions associated with these sort of job roles. So basically sky is the limit on how much commissions you can make out of these jobs. The next one on our list is tutor. So some students come here and start tutoring other kids. It could be tutoring the high school kids, or could be tutoring university kids as well. Again, because you will be instructing someone else, you need to have a good communication skills. You cannot get away with very poor or medium sort of English levels. The next one on the list is healthcare assistants. You could work in healthcare and aged care industry also, working as an assistant like personal carer and so on. You might need to have some certifications in order to work in those industries, and obviously good communication skills are must. The next job roles could be office support roles. Job roles like IT support or IT help desk, or being at reception or other office assistant. You obviously need a good communication skills there, as you will be regularly communicating with different people from different backgrounds. The next one on our list is content writer. So you can also become a content writer, where you can write blog articles, Instagram captions, or other social media assistant as well. The next job on our list is social media assistant. So you can work as a social media assistant with different businesses who might need the services of that person, and your job role usually includes creating content, posting content on different social media channels, and helping planning and analyzing the campaigns. The last but not the least is graphic designer. So someone who helps in designing different marketing materials or some other designs. It could be in different industry, ranging from education to fashion to retail and many others. And you need to have a very good communication skills in order to get instructions and discuss ideas with your clients as well. So these were some of the job roles based on your English proficiency level. Let me know what you think is your English proficiency level, and what sort of job role are you planning to do here in Australia. If you are already in Australia, please let me know also in the comments what type of job are you doing as an international student. And if you are a new student who's coming to Australia, then I highly recommend you to watch this video that's coming up on screen right now, where I am talking about how to get a job within 1 week of arriving in Australia. Is it even possible? Check this video out and understand how it works, and I'll see you there.